pretty phenomenal year for the major averages. What do you expect in 2020?
Yeah, so it's been a great year, but we can't forget that we had very cheap valuations coming into the year, right? So it's a bit artificial to just look at year-to-date
because we had set those lows on December 24th last year.
Exactly. So if you look back and you look at global equities, actually, global equities as a whole have not really gone anywhere for 2 years.
U.S. equities have
over
the last 2 years.
Certainly the breakout over the last quarter has been really strong for U.S. equities. But now, as people look around the world and they look for where the value is as the global economy is healing, we think investors are increasingly going to look for international markets to catch up. So that's kind of how we're more focused and positioned on going into 2020.
Hey, Mark, a lot of that will be determined by the economies that you see both here and around the globe. So what is your outlook for what happens?
Well, it's been a really good year. And we did a 180 in the economy, too. The Fed was raising rates a year ago, and stocks were in free fall, and housing was in free fall. Today, the Fed did their pivot. They cut rates 3 times. It turned out to be that economic growth came in above expectations in 2019. And we've got some pretty good momentum going into 2020. Housing is one area that's likely to surprise to the upside. And I think a lot of forecasters are raising their estimates for new home sales and single-family housing starts for next year.
Mm-hmm. To Evan's point, though, do you think the global economy is going to be one that really kind of nurtures gains around the globe and not just here in the United States next year?
Well, we've been hoping for that for a long time. If we do get a more substantial trade deal with China and the Chinese economy bounces back and that feeds back through to developing economies, the Chinese auto sector, if it were to turn around, that would help Japan and Germany. But, boy, that's a lot of ifs. I mean, I certainly would like to see it happen. My gut tells me that that's something that might happen later in 2020. And we might need it then because, in the second half of 2020 is a bit of a mystery. We're going to be headed into the presidential election. It's not uncommon for the economy to kind of chill out a little bit before the election, and we see that growth tends to slow a bit.
Evan, it's your call that you think the global markets will outperform, but how do you think the U.S. equities market will do? Will it hang in there?
Yeah, I think U.S. equities are going up. Still, probably more single-digit % as opposed to you could get double digits in emerging markets. But in general, look, we have a Fed that's going to remain quite easy throughout the year. They're doing this whole inflation framework review. They're not going to be hiking interest rates. We expect earnings to rebound with the economy. And, in general, we just think it is a bit of a Goldilocks environment.
So you wouldn't be taking any money off the table, and you might put more to work here.
Yeah, I think it's actually the surprise in 2020 actually could be that we get even better retirement. Everyone's coming in and saying, oh, we had such a good year this year. There's only so much further that stocks can go. But we have a very positive macro and policy environment that I think sets the tone for further gains. Certainly not at the speed we had this year, but...
So you're a Zirin guy. You're a Jeremy Zirin guy at UBS. You're not a Francois Truffaut-Trahan type guy.
Well, in asset management, we're...
So you listen to both guys and decide, what are clients supposed to do? They listen to Trahan. Where's he? 2,200? What was his target for the end of the year?
I think Trahan is at 3,000 for...
Oh, he moved up from
year.
2,200 to 3,000. That's good. And that's progress. How about Jeremy?
Jeremy, I'm not exactly sure what his target is, but look, I think in asset management we have a different investment process than some of these guys. We have a different client base.
They gave me that song and dance about that Trahan was institutional and Zirin was retail. It's like, oh, you give your institutional guys your good stuff, and then the bag holder.
No,
as it turned out,
turns out the retail guys.
Yeah, thanks, Francois.
Jeremy's been right.
Yeah. I can lose money myself. I don't even need help. My account's out at UBS, so I should say that. I should, because of all the way back to Kidder Peabody when Jack Welch
ran General Electric.
And Kidder Peabody ended up at UBS. So I mean, I'm a member of the family. So that's you only can talk about things if you're part of the family.
Right, absolutely.
Okay. No, it's just tough love I'm giving you. I just want to know where you stand.
I should point out, Jeremy's been right, though.
Jeremy's been right. I know, and he doesn't come on anymore because he's mad. Maybe it'll be.
Yeah.
We can only hope. The show just hasn't been the same.
Well, Jeremy's my friend. He lives in my town.
I got an open invitation. Yeah.